Hello, hello, Mystic GLoLady here. It has been too long since I have done any divination readings. It's been a year and a half that I have taken a hiatus in order to finish my civil rights lawsuit that's now in the Supreme Court, and I've also started going back and seeking higher education. So I've been up to a whole lot of things, and I hope that you have been creating as well. My Patreon GLoLady site is up and almost ready to run. I have my inspirational wallet size photos for download, and also my healthy hippie hemp oil blends and other essential oil blends, as well as tools of the trade. There's lots of different support levels, so I hope to see you on my site, GLoLady, on Patreon. I'll put a link below. And now, on to your readings. Hello, hello, Virgo. This is your divination reading for June 2017. And as we started out, we don't have any planetary that are banging down the door on you. I mean, we do have a square with Saturn, but that's, there isn't anything in there that's saying bam, 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 knocking down my front door. You've had some and it's letting up, so it's like be you, Virgo. Now, when we're coming into your second house of finances, possessions, Jupiter's there. And Jupiter is still retrograde. It's at 13 degrees and it will be going direct on the 10th. Okay, so it's only going to end up 13 degrees at the end of the month, but where is that balance? With Jupiter, Jupiter multiplies and expands, and it's in your finances and possessions. So, what have you been losing? What have you been letting go of in order to equal the balance in your life? Have you held on to possessions a little bit more tightly than people? Then probability is possessions are getting to have a whole new meaning for you. Okay, with Jupiter retrograde, what are your possessions? What are finances? Finances as a mean to living, but wealth isn't monetary. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on what you don't have, what you have lost, what you are losing? Well, Jupiter is going direct, as I said, on the 10th. So it's time to get a balance in your life again. Okay, Jupiter is going to start blessing you with finances and possessions. But have you learned those lessons? Have you been blowing your money like you know you shouldn't be? Thinking that okay, okay, and counting on and then not coming. So, getting a balance in your financial life will be good for you. With the third house having Scorpio there, communications, short distance travels, no aspects on communications. Now, when we're coming down to the fourth house, we have a full moon in Sagittarius there, and that will be on the 9th. You have to have a fun-filled household. Otherwise, you're not as happy as if you have people surrounding you. You want to have fun. I mean, you want your house organized, because you are organized, but you also want to have a fun-filled house. And with Saturn there, and Saturn retrograde, 25 degrees going back to 23 degrees, it's what lessons have you been learning on the home front? Are you learning that too much fun has a negative effect on the home front? Are you learning that home is where the heart is? So what kind of lessons are you learning pertaining to your home? Now, when we're coming to the 5th house of Capricorn, we have fun, sex, creativity, children, and also Pluto, change, transformation. And Pluto is retrograde, going back over. And I will say again about having too much fun and blowing money, having too much fun. Have you learned those lessons on? Or are you deciding that they are not worth the expense that they sometimes bring? Yeah, too much fun. There's a balance with everything, and be aware of that. Now, with work, you enjoy your work with people. You have Aquarius in there, and Aquarius is that lover of people. And 6th house is work, service, health, daily routine. And what can you be doing to help other people and get out of yourself? That's a big part of when you stay in yourself. You can't stay in your head too long. Otherwise, yeah, you can't fight the enemy when they have an outpost in your head. So when you're getting the point where, um, you're not as happy as what you should be, then consider going out and serving someone else, because service is good for the soul. Now, in the 7th house of relationships, we have Neptune in there, and Neptune is direct, but it's going retrograde on the 16th. So make sure you look at your relationships in all ways and not just in one way. Look at it from the other person's perspective and not only your own, because your own might not see things as clearly. Well, it will not see things as clearly as looking in from another person's perspective. So it's going to end the month at retrograde, 14 degrees. Chiron, that wounded healer. So just what I was talking about with relationships, Chiron is saying, yeah, I really do need to heal my issue of relationships, and looking at relationships in a more objective manner as to why I have certain people into my life. And if you have not learned those karmic painful lessons in dealing with relationships, um, it's just going to get harder. It's just going to get harder. So if you have, cleaned out dealing with relationships, keep that open communication. Don't keep the communication hidden, as in the Scorpio in the 3rd house. All right, you want to be open and honest in your communication. As we go into the 8th house, we have Aries, the energy of Aries sitting in there, of other people's money, death, inheritance, taxes. And we start out the month, with Venus at 24 degrees. We also have Uranus in there at 28 degrees, or I'm sorry, 27, ending at 28 degrees. So what kind of unusual ways can you think of to be creative with other people's money? And remember what I was saying with the Jupiter in your 2nd house of finances. Make sure that it's open and honest and balanced. Okay, contracts, make sure that you are, you have contracts in place and not just verbal, take the word of someone who can change it at any time. If you're going to have a contract, get the contract in writing. Now, as we go up to the 9th house, we have the energy of Taurus in long distance travels, in higher learning, and Venus is moving there on the 7th. Okay, the love of learning, the love of going on long distance travels. You have Neptune, or I'm sorry, Mercury, that is in there from the beginning at 19 degrees. So are you just talking about taking a trip that on the 7th will be more feasible as something to do? Do you have to take care of business and you are making your plans at this moment? Now, as Mercury moves into the 10th house in the sign of Gemini on the 7th, okay, Mercury's going to be flying. So, talking, if you're going to learn, if you're going back to school, you got to communicate it, okay? June, definitely want to get started because what is your career? As Mercury's moving into your 10th house of career, okay, are you talking about, or are you making arrangements to go back to school in order to further your career? With the new moon there on the 23rd in your career house, the sun there in the career house, what's new? What new things are you planning to do with your career? Now, Mars at the beginning of the month is in your career house too. Mars, work. What are you working on in your career? The sun's shining on whatever you're working for, working towards. Okay, Mars is moving into the 11th house of hopes, wishes, friends, and associates on the 5th, and that's where Mars is going to be. What kind of arrangements can you make with your friends in order to create? What are you creating with your friends? What kind of career do you have that can help your friends? Talk to them. Hey, what can I do? What can I do for you? I mean, Virgos always like to be in service of others to begin with. They like to help people. They have a need to help people. So if you're a Virgo and you're not helping someone, well, you're kind of like harming yourself. So, what you put out, you get back. So if you're helping others, others will help you. What goes around comes around. It's being open. Now, in your 12th house, you have Leo there, and the energy of Leo, secrets, institutions, jails, hidden enemies. Um, Even though that Leo's there, it's kind of like the lion with a thorn in its paw. And until you take that thorn out of your paw, out of your heart, out of your back, wherever that thorn may be, okay, we're only as sick as our secrets. So the acting out of and not understanding why, start looking for that thorn, okay? Start looking at that thorn in aspect to relationships. Is it too many thorns in the back and that's what needs to be healed? Are there thorns related to those secrets, institutions, jails, hidden enemies, those stab you in the back? Find out where that thorn is, okay? Because it's going to become more apparent if you don't. Okay, Chiron, how are you ever going to have a healthy, happy relationship if you do not look at Chiron? And okay, what is it? What is going on? Because Saturn going retrograde, still squaring Chiron, you're going to be learning those lessons again when Saturn starts going direct again. So unless you clean out those wounds regarding relationships, Saturn's just going to come back and, reopen the scab. So with that scab, you have to clean it out, cleanse it out, get it out. Where is that thorn? Take out that thorn, make sure that wound is clean. Okay, clean out that wound because, yeah, Saturn's sitting there squaring Chiron, and you're kind of going to be forced to, and it's probably dealing with relationships on the home front. What's up on the ninth? What do you need to let go of dealing with people, places, and things on the home front, because the ninth is going to shed light on what needs to be done. Oh, Virgo, I love you guys. Check out my Patreon. I have my tarot that goes a little bit more in depth, and I also have lots of other goodies. So spend your money wisely and go out and help others. New moon on the 23rd in Gemini. What kind of career advancements do you want, Virgo? Because it's all up to you. See you. Love you. Bye.